Good morning, team. Going for a quick Supercoach update here, coming into round 22. We'll kick it off with the fullbacks and head up from there. For those of us that do have trades left, it's very different for me in Supercoach to my fantasy team. I have 9 left, and yeah, looking to use a couple a week from here on in. So for the fullbacks, I personally have Teddy and Turbo. Both are clear holds, but if you didn't have those two and you weren't in this situation, then you could go 1 week early on Ponga if you wanted to, but ideally you're waiting until next week once he's got through the Panthers there. You do have, Pappy with a 94 last week who came into a bit of form and plays a couple of decent little squads coming up, so it's not the worst shout there at all. Hammer 669, just a 50 last week for him. It was a bit of a slower one. They do have the Roosters this week, so last week probably was the play. Not that he scored all that crash hot anyway. Drinky against the Tigers this week. If you wanted to go for a little 1 week play or couple week play there before their bye in round 25, then Drinky could be not a bad one there at all. Obviously Teddy at 947, most people should have him, but if you don't, you probably wait until the following week after their bye. It's probably where you're at on that one. Edwards likely to come back soon. Jaden Campbell at 801k. Do you hold off now? It just feels a little bit gross. Would you go Campbell or would you go Walsh? Maybe Campbell at the same price. Hey, they're both 801k. I'd probably also just wait until Ponga next week if you're going to go for a fullback here in this scenario. I'd say would probably be the best one to go for there. Okay, centre wing. So if you have Garrick like myself, he's on the bye anyway, so you're missing out on a player there. You need someone to replace, and it's a bit of an awkward week. You got Isaac Tungo, myself, who's just scoring terribly. I can't believe I bought him, thinking he was underpriced to 680k or whatever it was after he got up to 850, down to 394. Greg Marzou up against the Panthers, and then you got Casey McLean up against Dane Gagai. It's a position that I'm not super excited about right now, and there's not a clear amount of incredible options. You got Manu returning this week, which is good. That's definitely helpful there. But if you're looking at the averages, it is Lomax and Karaz, I think, are the two top guys on the list that you want to be targeting. Just because I think that both of them won't be getting a rest, and that's going to be pretty important. 716 for Karaz is a fairly solid price there. He's got a 3-round average at 87, averaging 75 for the year. So I do think you want to target these guys up top. Lomax at 78. He's got through that, the hardest matchup against the Panthers there, and he still picked up a 69. So going back to the wing, I think he can continue to do some good stuff. Whether you wait until next week after the couple of lower scores there, 68.9 thousand, he went down last week. So Lomax definitely one of the top guys you want. Dom Young, I think I think he does pretty well against the Dolphins here, but you could also wait until after their bye. So it's Lomax or Karaz for me this week. To'o, I think, is going to have a good little run, but he's also has that the issues of playing on that left hand side, which has been on and off all year. He'll go on crazy runs and he'll score triples and doubles and go big tons, but then he'll have these lower scores like the 44s. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint when that's going to be, and averaging 92 across his last 5. It happens in little spurts, and then you have these lower ones. So which luck side are you going to get on the back of there? As I said, not super excited with guys like Isako there. Thankfully, Holmes had a good one, and he's got the Tigers this week where he got 140 or whatever he got last time against the Tigers, which was great. Dan Gagai's an interesting one to target as well. Ronaldo, I think you sell with him out for 4 weeks. Brian Kelly doing solid work. Got Dylan Lucas if you still own him, holding on. Same with Iro, given that good little run. Kyle Felt picked up a 124 last week. He might do the same this week against the Tigers. We'll see how that one plays out. Same with Talangi. And you've got Joseph Sueli, Alele Ta'ua. Casey McLean. If you want to cash out, just pick anything you like. Obviously, with 6 rounds to go, you're probably going for a non-player. It's probably the best way to go about it. Most likely, you don't have too many players out this week to cause you any problems. So that's the center wing. It's kind of just get right up to the top guys, or just hang with what you've got is kind of where I'm feeling on this position right now. Because I've got the guys like Asako, and unless I'm really upgrading them to a top guy, I won't be upgrading at all. 5/8. Galvin is fine, which means you can keep him easily. He's also someone that you could easily move on. You've obviously got guys like Trindle at 613 now. He's gone up 100k last week after that 81 and the good score before that. So he's getting a little bit more expensive than that of Galvin. So you probably just hold steady on him there. If you have Plath in that position or the 2RF, that's 75, kind of keeps him in a spot where, you know, he can still score okay in 9 is basically what we're looking at with him. Cody Walker at 78, you're holding steady with him, I think. Luai still picked up a 90, so I think you probably just keep him for the rest of the year, even though he's at 819. I just think he has that upside, which is really cool. Holding on with Brown, holding on with Burton, 52. Tamati Martin is time to sell there if you haven't done so as yet. And I'd avoid Munster at this point, just given he's already booked in for double hip surgery once the season is done. Okay, Cleary and Hughes. Cleary, obviously the must-have there at 799, still really, really cheap. And up to an 84 average now after that massive score, thank goodness. That we've actually got a halfback that has played more than 5 games and is averaging over 80 finally, which is, yeah, crazy given how expensive Hines and Cleary were to start last season. So there you go. Yeah, Hines going to be really cheap and a must-have to start next year, isn't he? Averaging 79. For the season now, it's a little bit under where he was because he's got that 65 round average, which has dropped down that price for now. But anyway, Cleary, get him in your side. How you do it? That's a good question. Do you wait for DCE next week? Sam Walker was a nice score this week, 111 as well. So I think you'll hold on for this Dolphins clash. I think he should be able to score really well. Hughesy, obviously hold on for the Dragons clash as well. So if you had Hughes and Walker though, what did you? Yeah, you might have been in this situation last week and didn't have Cleary. So what do? You just flip a coin, pick one of them to sell, and go from there. Walker's got the bye next week, so that probably will do it for you. Fogarty, 103, so really good couple of weeks for the Fogman with a couple of try assists in both, kicking plenty of goals as well. He does come up against Bulldogs though, so it's probably one that you can avoid at the moment. SJ with his DNP at 493k. Wow, he's going to be cheap next year. It's crazy. Time Wishart, time to sell him now. He's had a cracking run for you. Time to remove him from your sides. No other cheapies that you'd want to look at. Isaiah Katoa, decent little 3-round average there, hitting a 68 last week, which was cool. 2RFs, there's a few options here. So I'm still sitting with the Smithies, Kaipis Paul, these types of guys, and just I like to do like a downgrade upgrade scenario, but just it isn't happening week to week. So I'm kind of just playing musical chairs with some of my guys, and I have 217 in the bank myself, and finally got that cash out last week in Casey McLean. But for Fifita Katoa, 2 guys you obviously want: Curran, Plath, Pierce Paul, Smithies, all guys you can take or leave. So if you were to muck around with selling a Kaipis Paul or something like that, guys you'd want. So Angus Crichton this week, I think you'll score really well. After a 49, I'm expecting some attacking stats, and yeah, you're not going to see him go 49 back to back, so I'm worried about that. The big one to look at here, obviously Hudson Young's a tick under 700k. He's coming off 2 massive scores. Can he continue doing it? I don't think so. Yeah, he's obviously missed. It's like AFB. You know, he's gone back-to-back tries. Unlikely to score a try this week. He might do, but likely to go a bit lower. And I think that's what's coming for Hudson Young. Isaiah Yeo at 593k is actually crazy that he's that cheap now. So he's a really easy guy to slot into your side and just lock yourself in for a 65 to 75 type of score. And yeah, could be a high 50s, but could be a 90 odd. So that's where Isaiah Yeo's at in this one, and he's the cheapest guy on this list that I think you should be buying. The next guy I think you should be looking at is that of Jeremiah Nanai at 668. Comes up against the Tigers this week. Yes, has a bye in round 25, but he picked up 100 last week. I think he'll do really well again against the Tigers. Has a really nice edge he's running at there with the youngsters, Samuel Afenu being one of them. So with his 67 average for the year, I think he can continue pushing forward from that, potentially even get himself to a 70 and hopefully a big score this week against the Tigers. So I'm tempted to buy him myself as a bit of a pod play, and I think you guys should have a look at him as well, for sure. You got Keon at 712, Britton Nickera at 723. I wouldn't be selling Nickera. I've seen a few people looking to do that. Keon, clear hold for the rest of the year. Paddy Carrigan at 547, so he's the next the cheapest, I should say, that you could have a look at, but obviously has a buy coming up as well. So yeah, someone to note, but I do think you'd rather go for like an Isaiah Yeo over him. Watson, I'd probably just avoid at the moment. I'm sad to be owning him at the moment. Hopefully he can have a good one. But Jacob Preston, the next big guy on the list that you could have a look at 612. he is a good price as well. And I do think that over the next bunch of weeks, he will score a try. There will be good things to happen for him, and he should play close to the 80 minutes for the rest of the season. So he's a good one to own over the next bit. Isaiah Papali'i at 589. So did score a try last week. I think we'll get more minutes playing through the middle there. Hopefully that's good for his scoring. I think he'll be able to average somewhere in that sort of 65 to 80 range over the end of the season. So in that case, is very, very well undervalued, which is nice. Both for more at 554, got a solid score there. Cartwright at 77, and then Victor with the try at 69. So not too many other guys that you'd be looking at there, obviously, other than Cam Murray at 523, but do you go for the other guys with probably a little bit more upside, potentially? And then Teague Wilton, if you wanted someone that's a little bit cheaper, under 400k, he's someone that I think can hit you somewhere in that 50 to 60 range on a regular basis and make some money. Not that that matters, but score pretty well for you. And against the South this week can have a good little run, that's for sure. So keep Wilton in mind at that cheaper range. If you need to do a little bit of a downgrade to make an upgrade there, that could be cool for you. So yeah, something I could potentially muck around with the 2RF and then upgrade in this front row forward slot, which we'll look at now. So a lot of people this week are going like a Terrell May to Adam Fanua-Blake or Payne Haas, and I think that's the correct play. I personally have Adam, so I'm looking to grab Payne Haas this week, and likely, if I don't go the Wilton play, I'll be going Terrell May up to Payne Haas for only $56,000 or $55,000, which is great. He will be the best guy to run home with. Him, Barnett, and Fanua-Blake are all 1 to 2 points apart, which is great. Joe Tarpany at 631 is the other guy to potentially look at. I think he has a good little stretch here. Probably hits his average of 64, 65, 66, somewhere around there, and will play every game. So a very, very safe option. The only thing you got to think about with someone like buying Payne Haas, and especially in my situation, is the fact that I've got Sam Hughes in there. That's going to be my only guy to play in that round 25 clash, round 24 clash when they have a bye. So I've got 2 weeks of this for Payne Haas, and then I'll have to work out an alternative option, or playing Sam Hughes for that week if all goes well and everyone's available. That would be helpful, that's for sure. Other guys on the list: Jensen, Stefano, all holds at the moment. Obviously, they're going to play. Jensen's going to miss out at 24, but Stefano will play all the way to 26, which is ideal. And hopefully, you can get a big game out of him. At least he has the upside. We know he does, which is good. So that's the front row forwards. Pretty, slim pickings, obviously. And then in the hooking position, Brayley likely to get some bigger minutes. So if you own him, just hold on for now. Watson, hopefully a good game for him here. Damien Cook down to 45, obviously played out in the centers and the wing. Hopefully that can turn around for him. Very sad to have sold Appy in the end for Watson, but can't win them all, can you? Can't win them all. He was a hold, but I think me with a lot of trades, I was like, I'll just sell. They'll be fine. So that's Appy. Could be brought back in. Little, obviously, will play the rest of the year. He's having a good season, a good little 5-game stretch, averaging 74. So he's currently second best behind Damien Cook, and then him, then Coruscant. So they're the 3 best at the moment. Reed Marnie's having a bit of a low one, unfortunately, in recent history. So I think you can steer clear of him until things turn around. He'll go even cheaper next week and could be a fun one as a bit of an upgrade from one of your cheaper guys. Randall, 48, picked up. Did he get a try assist in the end? I hope so, off the kick. That's really low with the try assist here. Maybe not for him. Blake Brayley, pretty low. Down under 500k now. Pretty wild there for sure. That's it. Starling continues to do good things. So he's down there at this low average, but a 70. He's hitting over the past 3 weeks there, 55 over the last 5. So 450k for him. He continues to go up, and get him right now at 450 before he goes into the 5s for sure. So I think we'll leave it at that for our buy, hold, sell for Supercoach. Pretty simple there. It's all just based on how many trades you've got. If you're sitting on sort of 3 or 4 trades, probably don't look to do double this week. Maybe just a 1 trade. Go sideways to a guy that you think has a little bit more upside that can get you a better rank, but it's kind of hard to... It's going to be hard to gain ranks at the moment unless you've got a lot of these upside guys. So just really push for the upside players if you can. Make sure you get full 17 that's strong on the park each and every week. If you've got those sort of 3 or 4 guys that get you that 30 or 40, it really does limit you. But if you've got the guys that are picking up 80s and tons on the other side, then you'd be crushing it. So There you go, guys. We'll leave it at that for the Supercoach buy, hold, sell. Hope you have a cracking morning, and we'll catch you in the fantasy videos.